Hello and welcome to the Reckon APS Practice Management Working with Fees training course. In this course, we'll learn how to create a fee batch with multiple debtors, understand the work list options, and learn about Batch Manager. Let's take a look at how we work with multiple fees from the fee console. Within the batch application, we can go and create a multiple batch of debtors by selecting this option. To extract multiple debtors, we're going to use the selector to list the debtors that we wish to add to our fee selection. You may have saved criteria that you use in your WIP reports. These would be available in here so you don't have to recreate them. These would be in your standard reporting. In this example, we'll create it. We're going to look at anything that has a WIP balance greater than $50. We'll use this selection criteria. And I only want to extract fees that is going to be for partner 1 or partner 2 or partner 3. Let's do partner 2. And I'm looking specifically for fees that I'm responsible for preparing, and I've updated the database for me as Senior 2, that's the name. I'm only interested in the fees that I'm responsible for. So I've updated the database attribute for this. Because I want to use this list again, I'm going to save this in my private list, and I'll save as my fees for partner 2. So the next time I come into this area, I will have my fees at the top with an underscore, so that they'll appear at the top of the list, and everything else that's been saved in the practice will be underneath the default fee selection. Once you've selected your criteria, go to your options page. Invoice date to be date of posting, and because we're doing them for month end, we're a little bit slow this month, we will exclude the filter after that particular date. This now selects all the available debtors for that criteria. This screen gives the opportunity to deselect all of them. If any of them are in a fee process, you'll see that in the logged out to section. Simply go through and highlight the ones that you want to bill. You could have a number of items in here, and you're selecting all the matters that you're going to bill. Work out which is the quickest way for you to populate your list. Once you've done that, select Finish. That's now created your debtors work list, and you'll see that in the top half of your screen. Your debtors work list might be quite large, so you might want to look at just your debtors work list. These little icons here, available in your view, can hide the invoice selection. Vice versa, I can hide the debtors work list, or my default is to show it by both. And that's available through here. Now that I have my debtors work list there, how do I go about starting my fee? Two ways that you can do this. You can simply multiple select the matters that you want to raise for the particular debtor and right click, raise fee. If you've accidentally picked more than one debtor, you won't see the raise fee button. The way that I prefer is simply just to go to my fees toolbar, and I will see the total by debtor rather than the individual matters, and I can go and raise my first fee. It pushes it from the top debtor work list down into the bottom of the invoice work list. Double click on that row, it'll bring you into your custom view. Prepare the fee by clicking on the edit mode, enter in the items for the batch, a result WIP will be 0, and go and enter your fee narration. To work on your next fee, I can use the My Fees drop-down bar and work on the next one. Again, if your debtor work list is quite big and you're working in all the preparation stage, then I would hide your invoice work list. So you're just working with the ones that you need to prepare. Continue this on till you've finished everything in your batch. If you do make a mistake and you realise that this client, after drilling down into a transaction level to see what's on there, and you realise that someone hasn't posted their time that you're expecting, then you can delete the fee. So see Person Investments, I've decided to delete the fee. What that has done, it has taken it off the invoice work list and put it back into my debtors work list. If I decide that I don't want See Person Investments at all in this batch, then I would need to remove it completely from the work list. So the delete fee option just deletes the invoice. It doesn't remove it from your debtors work list. Continue on and complete your batch. Once you've completed all your fees, you can return back to your work list. One of the things that you'll notice in your work list, if you're working across what we call batches, you won't be able to post your invoices across batches. You can preview and print them, but you can't post them. How do I know if I'm working in a different batch? In your grid, you'll see that there is a batch name. You can sort your fees by that, and you can even change your grid layout and put it by batch. This way I can see I can post that one, and I can post any one of these. I can also multiple select all the items in that batch, post, print, preview. I can also multiple select across batches and preview invoices. The other concept that we have with batches is that we can use the batch manager. In here you can see I have two batches, one which was the single fee created earlier, and the other one is my fee batch with 5 in there. For that particular batch, I can run a number of reports. I can run the reports before I went through and raised them when I'm in my debtors work list. I'll see the WIP detail. This gives you the same option that you do from Central Console or from Standard Reporting. It will detail all the transactional details for everything that's in the batch. Once I've raised my fee and my invoices, you might want to look at the batch summary. That might be presented to the Partner 2 to review. It gives them an itemised based on WIP, what the fee amounts will be, and the write-offs and the closing balance. The debtor summary gives you the WIP total. Again, you'd look at that before you posted your invoices, and there are our reports. You'll also notice that you can also work with batches in terms of actions. You can see that down here on the left-hand side. You can also see your query down the left-hand side. Actions are also available from the menu. If I wanted to post everything in my batch because it's completed, I can do this from the Batch Manager screen. You can also preview, print your invoices, and you can rename your batch here if you need to name it more appropriate. So from here I can select Post, and it will post everything in my batch. I can print. I might just preview those, and you can see and review everything. Once I've posted, you've also got your fee allocation numbers. I can also clear the batch from here in Batch Manager. The screen refreshes and I'm left with my debtors work list for anything that I haven't done in Batch Manager. Batch Manager is the option that comes up when you close your fees. If you do not like to use the Batch Manager, you can change your personal preference again from your fee activity screen in Central Console. Just to recap and re-action those, under your View Options, you will see in the General tab, show the Batch Manager when you're closing the console. So in summary, what are our learning outcomes? Well, we've learnt how to create a fee batch using the multiple debtor option. We'd use that when we're doing, say, a month-end batch of fees. We've learnt more about the work list and being able to switch between our debtor work list and our invoice work list. In the custom layout, you can use the My Fees options to drill down to your next fee very quickly. We learnt about Batch Manager and the relevant options and reports that are available from Batch Manager and the option to whether turn that on exit or not. On behalf of the Reckon Training Academy, we thank you for your time and we hope you found this useful. If you have any information, refer to your workbook or the information on your screen. Thank you.